Hello everyone, this is Collins again. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to do something different. This is something that I think, in my opinion, is long overdue. I wanted to talk about, what's the life like for Africans living here in Dubai? What's the job market like? Should you be packing your bags and getting the flight coming over here? I've put together a few questions that I think will be relevant to a lot of people out there looking to make that decision. I think it's gonna be great. Considering I'm a Nigerian and I've been here for over 6 years, I think I have all of the experience. I've been at the lowest of the lows, and I've been able to work my way up to where I'm at the moment. So let's get started. What made you decide to move to Dubai? Life, basically. Life made me made that decision. So apart from that, I wanted more for myself. I felt like over there in Nigeria, the amount of work you'd have to put in for you to reach just a comfortable level in life where you can say, okay, I can go wherever I want, can travel to wherever I want to travel to, I can do whatever I want to do, I can buy my house, buy a car. It just, the work that you need to do is just exponentially higher compared to every other country, okay, even fellow African countries. So I made that decision to move out here to see what I could get and what I could be, and and try to make that journey that bit easier for me. All right. I gave Nigeria a fair chance. I was a fashion designer at the time. After my time in the university, it just wasn't, the growth just wasn't there. The market was a little bit congested, if I could say that. But yeah, and that was the reason why I decided to take that leap. It was a very difficult leap, but to be honest, I didn't have much of a choice really. And my mom, hi mom, my mom made the decision even easier for me. She helped me so much. She was there for me the whole time. She even paid for the travel and everything. She just wanted the best for me at the time back then in 2019, and yeah, here I am. So the next question: how did you find an agency or recruitment service? I didn't. Funny enough, I came in here as a tourist back in 2019. I came in here with a 3 month visa. However, we had someone waiting for me here who was going to help me with a job, and I was going to be staying at this place for a few days until I got a job. When I came to Dubai, I had about $500 that was supposed to cover my cost of living, including rent and everything, until I was able to find a job. So yeah, I didn't have much. I really didn't have much. So yeah, lucky for me, I lucky or unlucky depends. I was able to find a job 2 days into being here, and that we're going to discuss further as this video, goes on. So yeah, I came in here with a 3 month visa. I don't advise anyone to do that now. Then it was a lot easier for, especially for Nigerians, but I don't advise anyone doing that at the moment. I suggest you find a job, get all of the paperwork sorted, all of the visa, everything that needed to be sorted before getting on that plane. All right. What kind of visa did it come on? Yeah, like I explained, I came in with a 3 months tourist visa. Like I said, I do not suggest anyone go that route in 2025. Best to find a job, get out of paper, all of your visa, all of the agreement, everything signed, sorted before getting on the plane. Okay. Um, Briefly explain the type of visa you got and whether it was a free visa, company sponsored, or otherwise. I answered that already. It was a tourist visa. Yeah. My first job in Dubai. So, um, my first job in Dubai was a cleaning job. Remember, like I said, I had just $500, so I had to survive on that. And common sense will tell you that wasn't going to take me much, especially after $300 of that went directly to the agent that was helping me search for a job at the time. So I had the first job I came in just because I needed to get off the visa and into something more permanent. I took that, and at the time that was the cleaning job. So I got a job in Sharjah, the Emirates of Sharjah, um, living there in the camp. A lot of you might know what that is. It's not the prettiest of places to be in, of course, but it was what was available at the time. Okay, so I took it, and that was my first job. And as for the salary, my first contract, the salary I was earning, my first salary was 800 dirhams. Okay, and 300 dirhams of that had to go to the to pay back the visa. Of course, I'm not going to be naming names of companies for for legal reasons. So 300 dirhams of that had to go back to the company, was deducted for the visa. By the way, that is illegal. This is why I suggest you don't go that route, because you can easily be taken advantage of, like I was. I didn't know anything at the time. So best to find a lovely job before you fly out here, right? Um, Legally, the any company that hires you in Dubai needs or are obligated to process all of a visa free of charge. It's not, it shouldn't be charged from your salary. But then I had to pay 300, and then because it was a communal living space, so the gas and everything had to deduct something. The cooking, I didn't cook much. I still don't cook much, but no one was going to listen to that, obviously. So we also got an additional 20 dirhams deducted monthly for gas. So essentially, my take home pay was 480 dirhams. 480 dirhams, which is just a little bit over 120, 120, give or take, dollars. So yeah, that was my first job. Um, and like I've already explained how the payment came in in the first couple of months, especially the first 8 months where I was being deducted the 300 dirhams. Obviously, that couldn't go onto the that couldn't be paid through the bank, because the UAE has got something called the WPS. Okay, I believe that stands for Workers Payment Scheme. Don't quote me there. I can't remember. So if your contract says 800 dirhams, they expect to see 800 dirhams go through that system, all right? So for the obviously, since I was getting deducted 300 dirhams for the first 8 months, I was being paid cash. However, after this time ran out, we started using the bank system where you're given a prepaid debit card where you can go get your deduct your salary from the ATM machine. So this was how I was getting paid after, for the next few months after the first 8 months. Um, how did you ever feel giving up during that time? Yeah. Yes, so many times, so many times. I can't ever. There were times where I felt very, very frustrated. It wasn't what I was expecting when I came out here. It really wasn't, especially since I was very educated. I knew or why I left my home country. But the thing about coming from Nigeria or coming from Africa generally is, once you are here, there is that stigma, about going back with nothing, right? Because you've spent so much money coming out here. It's not cheap, for especially for a country like Nigeria. I don't know about other African countries, but it's not really cheap. So you just want to make the most of it, and just don't go back home empty-handed. But in that time, earning what I was earning at the time, I couldn't really even help myself. Halfway through the month, I've already run out of cash, and I can't even find food to eat. Okay, it was that bad. But then again, I just had to hang in there, if that makes sense. I didn't have much of a choice. I had to make the most of the opportunity that I've been handed, and which I did. It was a frustrating time. It was the lowest time of my life, if I could say that. But I had a lot of friends around me, even when I had nothing. My mom, my family. I was here, and they still kept on sending me money to keep just to buy food and other things. I remember many times where while I was in the station where places where I was stationed, um, the local employees there, especially the ladies, I was posted to the ladies area. They always buy me lunch sometimes. I remember many times where I had to just, even though I wasn't given this, I had to just go for the remnant of food around just to, because I was so hungry, I didn't have the money at all. It's for, by that time I already spent all of my pay. So then you see sometimes in the office where they have chocolate. I wasn't given this, but I was hungry. I just had to survive any way possible. And then I had just the Pakistani, the Nepali, all of these people that I was sharing a room with. They would see that I was very tired. I'm slow, and they never see me eating. So they always offer me some food in the evening after work. So it was hard. It was very hard. And many times I just wanted to just go back home, but I knew that wasn't even an option. Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest of times. Let's just say that. But yeah, I came through. I managed to stay strong. I managed to pull myself through that period of my life. So yeah, I was working there for through from 2019 July through to I believe December 2021. Beg your pardon, December 2020. So 1 year and around 6 months, give or take. So how did it move from cleaning to a sales job? Right. I had my first breakthrough after because then while we were in the camp, all of our colleagues, including the Nigerians, Africans, Ghanaians, all of the black community, for us we thought that, not for me really, but generally the idea was to save up enough cash, do the SIRA exam. The SIRA, SIRA, is a securities exam that you have to take before you can work as a security guard. So for them, that was the next level or the next step in their lives here. But for me, it just wasn't it. I just felt like that wasn't a good enough job. But moving from an 800 dirham salary to around 1,800, 2,000. If you're lucky, 2,500 was a really, really big jump for most of them, or for most of us, including myself. But the job trajectory was just in what I needed, what I wanted. So I kept applying for anything, for like a job that would allow me to work in an office space, like an office boy, or um, like a receptionist, or not too high, not mid level, like low level jobs, but in an office space because I wanted to get that feel. So I had my first breakthrough with a sales job in Forex, a call center, if you could say. Actually, it is a call center. So but then came my next hurdle, or my next challenge, having to move from the company to another company. So the problem was my passport was being held by this current cleaning company, right? So they take your passport immediately you join the company, all right? So after your visa is issued, right? So I still had 6 months on my visa, right? So what um what they did was they were telling me that I cannot leave. But the good thing, I don't know, it was if it was just for just fate, or I had a lot of things going for me. But what happened at the time was the company at the time, the cleaning company at the time, held a lot of government contracts. So a lot of government buildings they were covering. So fortunately for me, and unfortunately for them, they lost that contract. So for the 3 months preceding the months that I left preceding December, I wasn't paid salary at all. So imagine that life, no pay whatsoever. I had a bunch of friends sending me money from everywhere I could beg. I hate to beg, by the way. I hate to be burdened to anybody. I would rather suffer in silence than to ask. But it got to a point where I just had to ask. But that's by the way. The 3 months preceding the month that I left the company, I wasn't paid. So legally, they can't not pay me, legally speaking, for 90 days. So because I had done 90 days without any pay, I mean, we had this WPS system, right? So it was clearly there. Legally, I could get out of the contract, right? And that was my understanding at the time. But I believe for some reason they thought I didn't understand the UAE labor law, but yeah, they were making it difficult for me to leave. So I had to report them to Moher, Ministry of Human Resources, I believe, and Emiratization. So I had to report them, which I was then assigned. I wasn't assigned a lawyer at first. They then called the company and then called me. And until I made that aggressive move, then they decided to actually cancel my visa under them. But that whole journey took me around, even I think 5 6 months, more than that, until the whole visa was ran out. So then I was working in the call center. I had a jump from the 800 dirham salary I was on to 2,500 dirhams. All right. That was my first breakthrough. So, this, by the way, this was a job I knew nothing about, but we'll get there. What are the biggest differences between your cleaning job and your sales job? The biggest difference was I left, I started living in Dubai from Al Sajar industrial area. So that was the biggest jump, and that was the most refreshing, if I could say. Yeah, it was different. I was living in Marina. It was a shared apartment, but it was just me and one other person in a partitioned room. So I was paying 800 or 700 dirhams at the time. I can't remember, but the guy was paying the bulk of the money. He understood my situation and he was very nice. I would never forget him. Um, yeah, so I was staying in Marina. I was living in a semi decent place for the first time since came to UAE. Um, yeah, so another difference was working in an office space. That was what I've always wanted, right? I wanted to have a desk, I wanted to work on a computer, and all of that. So you need to understand something. It wasn't immediately an easy job to get into. I've never worked in sales before. I didn't understand and know I didn't know the product well. I was selling financial products. I knew nothing about finance. I knew nothing about forex. I knew nothing about CFDs at the time. I knew nothing about crypto. I knew nothing about it. But I had that fight, right? What were my options? Either go back to what you were doing or fight and make something out of your life. So I chose the latter, right? Thankfully. Um, yeah, so some of the biggest changes that I liked. But yeah, I had to learn really, really quickly and to keep the job because that was one of the biggest requirements. I had to make sales and bring in results. So yeah, what's the current job like now? Whew, it's really nice. Right now, I'm speaking to you from the Burj Khalifa. That's where my office is currently. So yeah, it's a big jump. It's a big jump. So from when I was working, my first job in sales, I managed to work my way up the ladder from 2021 January up until today, which is July, the 23rd of July of June. I beg your pardon, the 23rd of June, 2025. In that time, I've been able to go from working as a call center agent to being a team lead here in one of the biggest brokerages around. But it wasn't an easy journey. So the job market for us African here, it's very limited. They prefer most employers prefer the European citizens as well as the American and Australian, or the English naturals, English speaking people. And for even the menial job or the low earning job, they prefer the Indians, the Pakistanis, the Sri Lankans, the Nepalis. So so they we that kind of make or forces the Nigerian or African people to actually have to battle it out. We have to work 10 times more, 20 times more to earn or be in the same position as those other people, right? So that is something that you have to keep an open mind about. This is how it is. This is the truth. No matter what any agent tells you, it's not as easy as that, unless you have some experience that is absolutely needed here. Say like a doctor, or even as a teacher, you still have to compete because you've been a teacher. Unless you were an amazing, great teacher, you know your stuff. Okay, or you work in medicine, like I said, or in engineering, or in some very, very niche profession that is needed. Apart from that, it's just a little bit harder as a Nigerian or African, and our people are some of the lowest earning people around. So keep that in mind if you're going to be moving out here, right? Um, yeah. So even if you're coming to work as a security guard or as a cleaner or in construction or any of these career path, you need to understand that it's going to be extra work for you. Okay, just simply because you're from Nigeria or you're from Ghana or from Africa or Uganda or Kenya, hey, just understand that, okay, I'm not coming here to just come chill. No, you are gonna have to work 3 times more or 4 times, or in some cases even higher times than the Europeans or the Americans or the other nationalities. So you need to understand this. It's not just gonna be a bed of roses. The roses are just gonna come and wallow in and enjoy. Of course, you're gonna have you have a lot of things to be happy for, to be thankful for, to enjoy. But you need to understand you have to work harder than everyone else to make something of your life out here in Dubai. I use myself as an example. That's why I use myself as an example for this Q&A, so you can understand how I came from working as a cleaner to now being a manager in one of the top 10 brokerages around the world. The easiest way for us as part of Africa to grow, if you don't have a special or one of those skills that everyone needs, like medicine, engineering, all of this professional skill, would be to you know would be the sales path. So we're talking either the financial sales, or real estate, or sales generally is the fastest path. But not everybody's got the skill for sales, because sales is not as easy as it sounds. You have to have extraordinary skills to some extent to succeed here, because it's emotionally draining. It takes a lot of time to grow within it. And if you're coming in there into sales as a newbie, you have to have that fighting spirit. You have to want it. You have to want to succeed. Otherwise, there is no chance. You're just going to have to, be comfortable earning 2.5K or 1,000 or 2,000, or at the best 5,000 dirhams per month. So if you want to be, the top 10% that earning around 20,000, 30,000 dirhams, and even up to 100,000 dirhams, you either have a professional skill that you can work with, that a lot of institution want or need, or you have to have your own business, or you're going to be starting your own business, or the other path would be sales, right? There is no two ways about it. These are your option. No matter what any agent tells you, no matter what anyone else tells you, okay, this is the reality. This is how it works. This is what you need to keep in mind before getting on that plane to come out here. Okay, most likely, if you're unskilled, you will be starting from a very, very low salary, and you will be living in a not so nice pace, and then you have to grow from there. All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for sitting around and watching and listening to watching this video. If you find it insightful, Please like and subscribe. And if you want to have more questions, please leave it in the comments. I'll be more than happy to make a follow-up video answering as much of your questions as possible. If you want help looking for a job and what platforms to look for a job with, I'll be happy to make a follow-up video to discuss these. Thank you so much for watching this through. I'm looking forward to seeing you again.